All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're tackling what is hands down the biggest debate in the SEO community right now, and that's search visibility in the age of AI. If you've been managing search strategies, you absolutely know the struggle. A massive chunk of queries now return these synthesized AI answers, sitting right at the very top of traditional results. And naturally, everyone is scrambling to figure out how to snag that coveted spot. Look, search visibility has totally shapeshifted in 2026. Because of this, everyone, and I mean everyone, is desperate to know if there's some sort of hidden code to guarantee their content gets cited by AI models. The word on the street is that schema markup might just be that golden ticket. But is it really? Is there actually a piece of code you can just drop onto your page to magically force Google or ChatGPT to feature you? To get to the bottom of this, we first need to bust a couple of myths and look at the two extreme camps dominating industry advice right now. Frankly, neither of them is actually accurate. Camp 1 preaches that schema is a magic switch, that if you get your JSON-LD code perfectly formatted, you are basically guaranteed an AI overview citation. Oh, and by the way, JSON-LD is simply the coding language used to build schema. Then on the flip side, you have Camp 2 pushing back, claiming schema is completely useless and that content quality is literally the only thing that matters. As always, the truth is way more nuanced, and neither of these camps aligns with what Google is actually saying. The crucial point here comes straight from the horse's mouth. Google's own explicit stance is that there is absolutely no special schema markup required to appear in these features. Structured data does not, I repeat, does not bypass the basic requirements of being indexed, being crawlable, and being eligible for a standard snippet. If your page can't pass that baseline bar, well, no amount of perfectly coded schema is going to save it or magically force an AI overview citation. Now, you might have actually seen this small, frequently cited experiment from search engine land floating around. They built 3 nearly identical pages. The one with well-implemented schema triggered an AI overview and ranked number 1. The page with poor schema ranked but didn't get the AI overview, and the page with 0 schema wasn't even indexed. While that is a genuinely fascinating result, we have to look at the massive caveat here. This was a tiny 3-page experiment. You simply cannot generalize an entire global SEO strategy from 3 pages. Okay, so if it's not a magic switch, what exactly is it? Well, think of schema in our 2026 context as a translator for systems like Google, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. These AI models are increasingly working through retrieval, meaning they are pulling specific, verifiable facts. By using schema, you're essentially pre-labeling those facts. You're telling the machine, hey, this is an author, this is a price, this is a distinct step. Rather than forcing the AI to try and infer meaning from your flowing prose, you are completely removing the guesswork. This is a massive paradigm shift. It's night and day. In the past, traditional SEO schema was all about earning those shiny, rich snippets in the search results. Authorship was kind of optional, and keeping dates fresh was just a nice to have. But today, for AI overviews, the goal has completely shifted to supporting the EEAT framework: experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. We are moving from chasing rich snippets to building a completely unambiguous entity identity, where having a verified person entity is absolutely required and freshness is strict. Essential schema for 2026, the core types. Let's look at what the modern playbook actually entails. Applying every single schema type to every page is a terrible idea. These right here are your heavy hitters. You need organization schema on your homepage to establish your brand, and you absolutely must tie that to a verified person schema. People skip person schema constantly, but for your money or your life content, it's a non-negotiable trust signal. From there, website and web page act as your connective tissue, working right alongside article schema to declare authorship and freshness. Finally, a huge one for businesses like agencies, law firms, or contractors, correctly utilizing service schema instead of mistakenly slapping product markup on everything. Now, brace yourselves, because this is a massive update for 2026 that is still catching a lot of folks off guard. The death of FAQ page schema. Older advice used to call this the single highest leverage type for AI visibility. Well, that advice is officially dead. As of May 2026, Google began removing visible FAQ-rich results entirely for every single site, with all reporting fully phased out by August. FAQ page is essentially joining how-to schema in the graveyard, which saw its mobile-rich results deprecated back in 2023. You really have to stop building your visibility strategy around these outdated formatting levers. Now, should you go in and delete them all? Not necessarily. If a page genuinely answers distinct questions, machines will still parse that schema for context. But please, do not expect any visible rich result or display payoff from it anymore. It is purely a machine parsing aid now. The 4-step setup process. Implementation guide. How do we actually get this right without shooting ourselves in the foot? It all starts with an audit. You have to root out those partial plugin defaults or mismatched schema sitting invisibly on your pages. Once that's clean, map your user intent to the correct content type. If your underlying content is just a wall of loose prose, you might actually need to restructure the text itself. Then comes a critical part. Handwrite your JSON-LD for your templates. Relying on generic SEO plugins is hands down the easiest way to break things. Finally, meticulously validate and monitor. For that validation step, always use these exact tools to check your code before hitting publish. The Google Rich Results Test, the schema.org validator, and the Enhancements tab in Google Search Console. Why is this so incredibly critical? Because JSON-LD is absolutely unforgiving. A single missing comma or a misplaced bracket can silently invalidate your entire block of code, leaving machines with nothing to parse, and leaving you sitting there wondering why your traffic flatlined. Okay, so your flawless schema is live. How do you track it? For a long time, we just couldn't isolate AI visibility, but now you can monitor your impressions with the brand new generative AI performance report that Google started rolling out in Search Console back in June 2026. It tracks impressions for AI overviews and generative features in Discover, but here's the golden rule, folks. Give it time. Do not expect results in a neat little 60-day window. Give it several weeks to a few months to see real shifting data patterns, and treat any earlier read as just noise. Silent killers, mistakes that destroy AI visibility. Let's look at the dark side of this strategy. Even with perfect intentions, certain implementation mistakes will quietly and often totally invisibly kill your AI visibility. The absolute most dangerous trap here is content mismatch. This is where your hidden schema code claims something completely different than the visible text on your page, like applying article schema to a contact page, for instance. This isn't just a minor technicality, it's an active structured data guideline violation. Other silent killers include leaving required fields blank, which usually just gets the whole block ignored, or treating schema as a set-it-and-forget-it task. If you let prices or dates get outdated, you erode trust instantly. Disconnected entities, or relying entirely on generic plugin templates that lazily apply the same incorrect schema everywhere, will absolutely destroy your chances of being cited. So, wrapping up this explainer, I want to leave you with one vital question. Schema is incredibly powerful for removing guesswork, but at the end of the day, it is simply the container. Are you providing the actual substance inside that container? Because even the most perfectly coded page in the world will never, ever outrank genuine expertise. Think about that as you audit your site this week.